The magical kingdom of Clyrode summons hundreds of heroes from other worlds every year to fight in their war against the Dark One and his army of powerful demons. Banaza is a merchant, summoned from the royal capital Paluma. But something's not right. Banaza has low stats and seemingly no divine ability. Shocked at him being a failed hero candidate, the magicians wanted to send him back to his previous world. The magicians got interrupted due to the summoning of the blonde hero, a man with stats comparable to those of a real hero. Banaza tried to talk to the maids and other workers from the royal palace to help him get back to his world, but no one listened to him. Later, Banaza tried to talk to the king. Unluckily, the gate used to summon Banaza has been closed, and it's impossible to open it again. The king sends Banaza to the Delavza forest near the Demon Lord's territory, where he could live from now on, hoping to get rid of him. The trip to the forest took him 20 days. He was very surprised that the king would make a slave contract with a demi-human just to bring him to the forest. But to his surprise, in this world, there do not exist such things as slave contracts like in his previous world. In this world, humans and demi-humans coexist. Arriving in the forest, the only thing he got from the king was a bottomless bag with some gold and things he needed top live. After killing a slime, he received a notification on his status window saying he had leveled up to level 2, gaining access to all magic skills, and all his abilities changed to infinite. Another message pops up, saying that the magic bag he had attracts nearby demons. Thus, he used one of his skills to get rid of the curses on the bag. Entering the forest, he got automatically warned since the forest was covered with a high concentration of Melicium, which deals fatal damage to human beings. He used purification magic to get rid of the severe magic in the whole forest. Since purification is the most effective magic against demons, he killed every single demon inside the forest, thus leveling up to level 367. But due to him not realizing that he killed a bunch of demons, he thinks that his levels get up if he only uses his magic. He isn't even realizing that the unknown symbol to him means that all his stats are infinite. Instead, he thinks that he is so weak that the skill board won't show him any numbers. He decided to completely start over in this new world and to earn some money. Thus, to not get recognized, he changes his appearance with a skill of his shape-shifting magic. After teleporting to the castle town of Clyrode with teleportation magic, he registers himself in an adventurer's guild, and he also changes his name to Fleo. While unable to decide which quest to accept, he got approached by a female demi-human child who asked him to escort her to the Delavza forest. Surprised about this job, he agreed to escort her since he could use teleportation magic. However, he was abruptly stopped by 4 female knights who threatened him to leave the girl since he wouldn't be able to accomplish the task. The 4 knights refused to believe him, saying that he could use teleportation because it is a high-ranking magic that only a few mages can use, and so they determined he was after the girl's body. Fleo proposed to the knights to come with him so that he could show them that he is speaking the truth. He teleported him and the others to the Delavza forest, and they were shocked that he really could use such high-ranking magic. Suddenly, the knights gather around the girl. The demi-human girl turned out to be a lupine demon and tried to attack all of them after she turned into her original form, which is the form of a fang wolf. The 4 knights couldn't do anything against the demon and are now affected by Melicium. The demon wolf's attention is solely on Fleo, who is not affected by Melicium. The demon wolf directly targets Fleo first, but he quickly pulls the female knight aside to dodge the attack. He quickly used teleportation magic and transported the entire group of the female knight back to the capital while he remained behind. Fleo attacked the demon with gravity magic and crushed her to the ground. Even tough messages, saying he should use subjugation magic on Fenrys, kept popping up. He refused to do so, because he remembered how demons were treated in his previous world. The demon gave up and turned into her demi-human form since all her magic was used up. Fleo proposed to her that she refrain from attacking humans, starting from that point onward. Suddenly, she fell asleep due to her magical points being depleted. Later, Fleo put the demon wolf into a tent and healed her wounds. When she woke up, she introduced herself as a Fenry. She attaches herself to him, calling him Master, but he gets her to call him Darling instead by claiming they are married, as her tribe's rule is to submit to the strongest. After talking, Fleo confessed to her that he is from another world and even showed her his true self. Meanwhile, the blonde hero is revealed to be a showboat and coward after getting many soldiers killed by psychobears, but the king is still nevertheless supportive of him. 1 week later, the two of them went to Clyrode, and he registered Fenrys in the Adventurers Guild under the name Risu. They accepted an emergency quest to subjugate a horde of psychobears that appeared in the northern forest. He teleported Fenrys to the northern forest, where the psychobears are. They found the 4 female knights surrounded by a horde of psychobears. So Fleo stepped in and killed all of the psychobears in a few seconds with one hit of his lightning magic skill. The 4 knights were very surprised after seeing Fleo again. The only bear who was left alive behaved like a pet after feeling the immense power of Fenrys. Due to this, he decided to make the bear their new pet, since Fenrys was the one who made this proposal. He used obedience on him to suppress sudden rages, and he turned him into a Unicron rabbit using shapeshift. He called their new pet Cybe. After that, the 4 soldiers introduced themselves as Ballyrosa, Blossom, Bolano, and Bilary and request for him to help train them and for them to stay at his house for the time being. He agrees and introduces Fenrys as his wife so as to calm her rage. Meanwhile, the Dark Lord learns of Fleo's actions and sends his minion Uliminas to capture him. In order to understand everyone's abilities, Fleo caught a mountain boar and had the female knights fight it. To his surprise, they failed completely and couldn't do anything against the mountain boar. After this session, they went home together. Their new home is an abandoned house near the place where the psychobears showed up. After he accepted Fenrys' proposal to let her cook, he was very surprised to see raw meat on the plates and had to tell her that humans don't eat raw meat. Thus, he and the female knights decided to cook for that day. Sometime later, he and Fenrys went to the Adventurers Guild, and he brought them the mountain boar they had killed. After letting Fenrys go and do her own business, he went in a private room, where he talked with one of the Adventurers Guild employees. He received the bounty for the killed psychobears and had to turn down an offer from the employee, who asked him if he could join the king's army, seeing that he is a very capable adventurer. When he left the room, he saw Fenrys, whose clothes and body were really dirty. But she couldn't tell him that she secretly begins taking cooking classes. One day, Fleo praised Blossom for taking such good care of the garden, together with Cybe. He walked over to Bolano, and he suggested she wear this ring for the rest of the day and just take it off if she feels sick. Meanwhile, Fenrys becomes wary and protective when she realizes the girls are trying to get closer to Fleo by feigning injury. After that, everyone went home together and accepted Fenrys' proposal of letting her cook. At first, Fleo was unsure, but he was amazed at her improvement. Fenrys later catches Uliminas snooping and welcomes her into their home. Uliminas mentions that in the Delevza forest she couldn't find any magic beasts. Fleo reveals that he cast the purification magic over the forest. Uliminas was shocked to hear this. Because of purification magic, all the hordes of dark soldiers, including Fenrys' brother, were killed. However, Fenrys forgives Fleo for this, as she believes that her brother's death was his own fault. Uliminas then challenged Fleo, who also agreed. Outside of their house, they started the spar. He decided the rules. The battle is over if either one of them surrenders and magic is allowed. Seeing Uliminas cast not only poison claws, but a wide area of poison magic, which would also affect Fenrys, he nullified her magic and paralyzed her using crucifixion magic in an instant. He said that he was okay with making this battle, but he can't forgive her for aiming at Fenrys. This led Uliminas to surrender. They later tell the girls the truth about themselves. Suddenly, Uliminas came back with the strongest dragon squad from the Dark Army, the Dragon Riders. Rather than being scared, Fleo was delighted to see real dragons for the first time in his life. Uliminas initiated an attack, but Fleo, using holy magic Heavenly Hammer, killed most of the dragons in an instant, forcing Uliminas to retreat. Fleo told Blossom to throw the Hoe tool since she wanted to kill a dragon. He gave the Hoe tool several effects, such as speed up, improved striking, piercing, and consecration. Blossom checked her stats and saw the title Dragon Slayer. The Dark Lord saw what happened, so he decided to visit Fleo himself. Sometime later, the female knights talked about Blossom's new achievement, and Ballyrosa left to hunt the magic beast. After leaving, she was frustrated because she also wanted the Dragon Slayer title, since it could have restored the nobility of her family. Then she was approached by a man who asked her that an old acquaintance of his lives in this area. Ballyrosa asked him if he was acquainted with Fenrys, and the man said yes. Thus Ballyrosa knew that he was from the Dark Army, and she drew her sword, asking what his business here was. The demon reassures her that he does not want to make trouble. She puts down her sword and accepts his request to ask Fenrys if he could meet with her. Before leaving, he told her his name, which is Gozul. The moment Gozul left, Fleo and Fenrys ran up to her and asked if everything was all right. Ballyrosa mentions a man named Gozul from the Dark Army was here. Fleo and Fenrys think the name is fake, so they checked that man's identity. It said that he was the Dark King himself. Ballyrosa was shocked and thought that her life was over. On another day, Gozul decides to visit Fenrys to meet Fleo. Fleo declined Gozul's offer to join his Dark Army and told him that he does not want to participate in this war, and even tells him that he is not from this realm. Thus doesn't even know why there is a war between the humans and the demons. Gozul told him the history of the war, and Fleo was shocked after hearing that the war started 500 years ago. After hearing the story, Fleo asked Gozul if he wanted to stop the fighting, to which Gozul replied that he doesn't want to fight, but if there is something that threatens his people, then he can't just sit still. Fleo wasn't intimidated by Gozul's pressure and rejected his offer to join his army again. He stated that he is not interested in taking either side. When Gozul was about to leave, he told him that he could come by and chat anytime. Gozul takes a liking and begins visiting the house daily, much to his army's concern. The next day, the blonde hero brings an immense army to force Fleo to join the war or be killed, but he still declines even when the hero won't take no for an answer. Ballyrosa, Blossom, Bolano, and Bilary all defect from the kingdom's forces and stand by Fenrys and Fleo, who teleport himself, the girls, the house, and the fields far away. The blonde hero is shocked to see that Fleo can use teleportation. Gozul arrives and, after realizing that Fleo's gone, orders his army to attack the blonde heroes, forcing him to retreat. Having relocated to the west, Fleo decides to become a merchant, selling items made of the monsters he defeated. Gozul's army begins charging its way from the northern forest down through the kingdom. A soldier reports to the king that the blonde hero is unwilling to join the fight and has locked himself in his room following his failed attempt to force Fleo to join the war. The royal mages and the king are forced to cast a purification defense barrier to slow them down the Dark King army. However, it results in them all becoming comatose, including the king putting his daughter, Princess Elizabeth, in charge. Her first order being to banish the blonde hero for his incompetence. His slave Tsuya accompanies him, as she still maintains her loyalty to him. After the blonde hero got expelled as the official hero, he went straight to the treasure room below the castle. There, he and Tsuya were searching for anything valuable. While searching, he heard a strange voice in his head, asking him if he needed power. He heard from that voice that there is a djinn sealed within this treasury. He followed the voice to a sword, and he drew the sword from some kind of altar. This unsealed the djinn inside it, and the djinn introduced himself as Hysa. The djinn asked him if he was the one who unsealed her, and he affirmed it. Thus, Hysa granted him 3 wishes. He proceeded with telling Hysa his 3 wishes. His wish was for Hysa to kill Fleo. The djinn then places sacrificing collars on the necks of everyone in the castle that will eventually cut off their heads once her wish is fulfilled, intending to use their deaths as payment for her wishes. The princess is then advised to search for the true hero, who is identified as Fleo, who lives in the west. She then decides to find Fleo herself. Meanwhile, Fleo goes on a date with Fenrys, and System Alert warns him of a demon approaching. They are confronted by Hysa to fulfill the hero's wish to kill Fleo. Sensing the lethal intent, Fleo prepares to counterattack, but Fenrys jumps in to take the hit for him, falling after the attack. Hysa keeps attacking Fleo, but his magic seems ineffective against him, surprising the demon. Fleo is unfazed and uses healing magic on Fenrys. Although her injuries are too severe to heal completely, a powerful strike from Hysa hits Fleo's back, but doesn't even scratch him, leaving Hysa sweating in disbelief at the resilience of a human able to withstand the force of primitive magic. The demon is surprised that Fleo could use a time reversal spell, and before the demon could even react, Fleo hit him in the face. The demon tried to attack Fleo with magic, but Fleo, completely enraged, grabbed the demon's head and lifted him up. While in that position, the demon used this chance to appraise Fleo's stats, and after seeing the infinite, she seemed to realize something, but he couldn't finish his thoughts since Fleo kept hitting the demon. Meanwhile, Fenrys, who has been laying on Barbarosa's laps, woke up, completely uninjured. Barbarosa thinks it was Fleo's magic to heal her. After seeing Fleo completely beat up the demon for her sake, she is flustered and also acknowledges Fleo's strength. But after a second thought, she doesn't like seeing him doing such things. Thus, she ran over to Fleo and stopped him from beating up the demon, saying that she is now all right and she doesn't like him being so brutal. Fleo, not believing that Fenrys was all right, embraced her. Hysa's defeat causes the sacrificing collars to disappear. Meanwhile, in the royal palace, the blonde hero and Suya locked themselves inside the treasury chamber. A sudden voice appeared and said that she would occupy Suya's body. Suya collapsed, and right after she stood up, saying that she was finally back. Obviously possessed by the owner of that voice, she changed her appearance into a woman with very revealing clothes and a big witch hat. The hero, still not understanding what was going on, asked Suya since she could use magic. The owner of the voice turned out to be the dark grand mage Damalinas, and she transformed the hero into a big, goat-like monster and chased after the princess. Meanwhile, Hysa regained consciousness and asked Fleo, who healed her, for forgiveness. Meanwhile, Fenrys proposed to Hysa that she would become a servant since she was strong. But after a little discussion, Fleo agreed to take the demon as his servant, and the demon gladly accepted. But Hysa recommends not using the time reversal spell again because that magic is very dangerous. Hysa also reveals that the sign on Fleo's status window means that his stats are infinite and that he can use perfect learning magic. This magic allows him that, once he gets hit by any kind of magic, he will learn any and all kind of magic of that category. Later that day, Fleo introduces Hysa to everyone in the house where she will live. Elizabeth continues her search for Fleo. Meanwhile, the 4 female soldiers manage to tame a unicorn-like monster. In the same moment, the goat-like monster and Damalinas appeared in the city and began to destroy what was in their way. This alerts Fleo and Fenrys. The two hurry to evacuate the people and find Hysa, who sensed a surge of evil. Hysa explains that the witch is Damalinas, who once was the strongest magician in all of Clyrode. But after being executed by the hero of her time, she was sealed in the pedestrian beneath the sword, where Hysa was sealed inside. Damalinas, sitting on top of the goat-like monster, ordered the monster to attack the first princess. Right before the foot of the monster would have hit them, Hysa stepped in and blocked the hit. Under orders from Fleo, Hysa engages Damalinas and the transformed blonde hero. Damalinas used her trump card and enlarged her monster drastically. But before the monster could do any damage, Fleo forcefully dispelled Damarinas's magic. Because of that, Damalinas was shocked. Hysa used that moment to extract that monster and Damalinas and form them into a pill, which the demon swallowed. The blonde hero and Suya were not harmed and lay on the ground, unconscious. Elizabeth finally meets Fleo and requests for him to come to the castle, but he respectfully declines as he wants to live a private, peaceful life and does not wish to fight. However, he does give her a large amount of money to help restore her kingdom. The female knights went to Fleo and asked him if they could buy more land around their house to extend the farm and also for Bairelli to keep the horse. At first, the knights wanted to pay for the land themselves, but after seeing how much the house and the land cost, they gave up. Thus, Fleo proposed that he would pay for the land. Instead, the knights had to give him 30% of the profit. They bought their land and instantly started working on the field. After the discussion, they agreed on growing core with the help of Hysa's magic in one section. The blonde hero and Suya are arrested and scheduled to be executed. Fenrys' cooking skills are improving, which delights everyone else. Elizabeth later visits to apologize to Fleo, calling him by his old name Banaza for his earlier mistreatment by her father, but also requests for help in protecting the towns from the Dark Army. Fenrys is against this. But Elizabeth warns them that the king will awaken soon and may again try to force Fleo to join the war. However, she intends to make him step down so she can take over. She begs Fleo to help, leaving him to think about it. Meanwhile, the blonde hero and Tsuya have escaped the hole but are still being hunted down. They are suddenly captured by Fufun, Uegard's subordinate. Fleo finally makes up his mind and agrees to help, bringing Fenrys along. He defends a village from an attack from the Dark Army. The demons gathered in front of Fleo's barrier, and they are confused seeing a Fenrys helping a human. One demon, a Cyclops, insulted Fenrys, and because of that, she asked Fleo if she could take care of them. He agrees and steps out of the barrier. She fought with the guy who insulted her, but her whole race. She completely destroyed him, but still showed him mercy by not killing him. The defeated Cyclops ordered the other demons to attack Fenrys, but while jumping at her, Fleo used magic and stopped them mid-air. After that, he approaches the Cyclops and heals him. He said to the group of demons that they should retreat and used his intimidating aura, which he learned not too much prior, to scare them, and thus they retreated. A few villagers saw those two and thanked them. They were very shocked after hearing that the demon, besides Fleo, was his partner. The kingdom's mages learn of Fleo's actions, with Elizabeth pleased that Fleo accepted her request. Gozul learns that Uegard has taken the throne and intends to perform a ritual that will summon an evil god using the blonde hero and Tsuya as sacrifices. He quickly races back to the castle to put a stop to his brother. Fenrys' cooking skills are improving, which delights everyone else. Elizabeth later visits to apologize to Fleo, calling him by his old name Banaza for his earlier mistreatment by her father, but also requests for help in protecting the towns from the Dark Army. Fenrys is against this, but Elizabeth warns them that the king will awaken soon and may again try to force Fleo to join the war. However, she intends to make him step down so she can take over. She begs Fleo to help, leaving him to think about it. Meanwhile, the blonde hero and Tsuya have escaped the hole but are still being hunted down. They are suddenly captured by Fufun, Uegard's subordinate. Fleo finally makes up his mind and agrees to help, bringing Fenrys along. He defends a village from an attack from the Dark Army. The demons gathered in front of Fleo's barrier, and they are confused seeing a Fenrys helping a human. One demon, a Cyclops, insulted Fenrys, and because of that, she asked Fleo if she could take care of them. He agrees and steps out of the barrier. She fought with the guy who insulted her, but she completely destroyed him, but still showed him mercy by not killing him. The defeated Cyclops ordered the other demons to attack Fenrys, but while jumping at her, Fleo used magic and stopped them mid-air. After that, he approaches the Cyclops and heals him. He said to the group of demons that they should retreat and used his intimidating aura, which he learned not too much prior, to scare them, and thus they retreated. A few villagers saw those two and thanked them. They were very shocked after hearing that the demon, besides Fleo, was his partner. The kingdom's mages learn of Fleo's actions, with Elizabeth pleased that Fleo accepted her request. Gozul learns that Uegard has taken the throne and intends to perform a ritual that will summon an evil god using the blonde hero and Tsuya as sacrifices. He quickly races back to the castle to put a stop to his brother. In the Demon King's castle, the Illuminous met the three Heavely Kings and was upset that they were also here. Though they said that they do not doubt that Gozul is stronger and better than his brother, they were ordered to come here by Fufun. When they entered the throne room, Illuminous got angry and jumped on Uegard, trying to hit him with her claws. But due to his strength, her claws broke, and she could do nothing. With just one hit, he catapulted her to the back of the room, and she crashed into the wall. Greenel saved her, and after Gozul's command, she disappeared together with Illuminous. Gozul said that he doesn't want to make a useless fight. Fufun said that due to his behavior lately, the demons lost their faith in him. Uegard is dissatisfied with his ways of handling the Dark Army. To his surprise, Gozul willingly resigns and allows his brother to take the throne. Uegard takes this as a joke and tries to attack him, but is kicked out of the castle with just one kick by Gozul, saying that it was payback for what he did to Illuminus. He apologized to the heavenly kings for causing them so much trouble and left. When Barbarossa came back home, she found Gozul and Illuminus in their home together with Fulio and Fenrys. Fulio said that those two plan on staying in their home for some time. Gozul said that he quit being the Demon King and promised not to put them in danger. However, Barbarossa was against having these two demons in their home, but Fulio and Fenrys managed to reason with her, and she finally accepts Gozul as their new housemate. Barbarossa couldn't sleep at night, so she went on the balcony to look into the night. Fulio and Fenrys also came to keep her company. While having a drink, they once again talk about Gozul and Illuminus living together with them. Barbarossa told Gozul the next morning that she is fine with them living here, as long as they do not harm them. Meanwhile, the blonde hero and Tsuya have escaped Uegard's clutches. At the Demon King's castle, Uegard asked Fufun why they were losing against the humans. Fufun replied that it must be pure luck. Meanwhile, the Infernal Four already knew that they were just losing because Uegard has no reconnaissance team, but they still decided to hold out in order to welcome Gozul back. At Kunosaki Onsen Village, Fulio and Fenrys decide to take a trip to the hot springs with everyone. However, Uegard and Fufun also attend the hot springs with the intention to boost morale with people. Fenrys ordered Gozul and Illuminus to not be seen by those demons and to not disturb her and Fulio on time. After that, they went to their very spacious room, and everyone was surprised about its size. Hysa and Damelina's had a talk in Hya's inner spirit world since Hysa swallowed Damelina's. Because Hysa got thought human common sense by Fulio, she wanted to forcefully sleep with Damaranas. Damaranas tried everything to stop her, even saying that with two females it is impossible. Thus, Hysa revealed that she is actually genderless and can change her gender at her own will. Damaranas managed to forcefully kick Hysa out of her own inner spirit world. Meanwhile, the blonde hero and Tsuya also arrive at the hot springs with the intention to sell a diamond that they stole, but the diamond starts glowing. Suddenly, the blonde hero transformed himself into a giant monster, consisting of dark particles, and attacked the springs. The inn started to break down, and the people fled. Fulio used fortification magic and gravitation magic to stop the inn from crumbling. Wanting to help, Fenrys jumped over the fence of the inn, completely naked. Fulio told her to get dressed first. Also, the others in their party noticed what was going on and decided to help. The demons, who noticed Gozul on top of the inn and Uegard, rushed towards him to fight against him. As Gozul and Uegard fight, Barbarossa informs Fulio of what's going on while Fenrys acts swiftly, using short-distance teleportation, and punches the blonde-haired hero to wake him up, freeing the blonde hero and Tsuya. Illuminus faces Fufun and the Infernal Four. Uegard, now close to his brother, fights with renewed vigor, relentlessly attacking Gozul, who doesn't want to fight back. Despite Gozul's warnings, Uegard refuses to retreat and continues his assault. Seeing no other option, Gozul uses his ultimate technique, a palm strike to Uegard's chest, immediately disabling his combat abilities. The strike halts Uegard's magic circulation, leaving him only slightly stronger than an average human. According to Gozul, this technique was originally created by humans. The resort owners use emergency magic to restrain Uegard and his minions before teleporting them away. As Fulio and his friends make repairs to the resort, the blonde hero and Tsuya run from the angry owners, but are launched by a geyser after trying to dig their way out using the magic shovel. The owners express gratitude for Fulio and his friends for their help as they continue their time in the springs. Gozul then establishes a firm relationship with Fulio, hoping that he can make peace between humans and demons. Meanwhile, the woman had a lot to talk about. Illuminus, who was rather jealous of Barbarossa's appearance. Blossom and Belano, who were trying to find out what happened between Baireli and Hysa, and Fenrys, who constantly thought of having a family with Fulio. Afterwards, all of them enjoyed a great feast and went to bed. Fulio and Fenrys, who couldn't sleep, went outside and talked about their future and their future family before expressing their love towards each other. The next day, the group returned home and continued their daily lives at the farm. Meanwhile, Elizabeth is now the kingdom's new ruler and learns that her father has escaped after awakening. The blonde hero is still being hunted and vows to continue his attempt to be recognized as a hero. Thank you for watching till the end, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time and peace out.